me, the greatest motivator in life is just seeing people around me in the community doing something. That's why I really like Makerspace. I come here, people always do something here. People always have ideas. And I was like, shit, I also need to do something. And the COVID years, because of that, were super hard for me because you just stay at home, you don't see anyone. So I watched all the YouTube I could in the 2 COVID years. And I procrastinated really hard. I'm trying to run a very small kind of teaching sessions, because building a foam board plane, if you don't know anything about physical world or how to interact with it, actually involves a lot of learning. So you need to learn how to cut the foam, right, to the correct depth and with the correct alignment. It's a lot of physical skills. And how to glue that stuff together, how the structure of the foam works. Like, you have to learn the basics of how the materials work, right?
Yep.
And then you add electronics into it, and then you learn the layer of aviation, how the airfoil works and how the center of mass works and how to balance it and why it's important. So there's a lot of this stuff. And what I'm doing right now is I'm sometimes inviting my friends over when, for example, we got new samples of foam.
Okay.
I would cut something. I would show them, you cut like this, you put the ruler like this, you cut it, and you see how deep is the cut. And I'll give it to them and see how they do it. And then I try to iterate on the way I describe stuff and these small little details, how I describe these processes. And what I see for the workshop is just, it will be more or less collaboration where I show one of the steps how to do, for example, how to cut foam.
Yeah.
And then we just have several people, probably in groups, because we don't have that much space, probably working in a group of 2 or 3 people, just repeating that and trying it. And it's trial and error because it's a physical world. It's not like software. Even in software, it's trial and error, right? So you try once, it doesn't work. You try a second time, then I can come over, just help you out with it. So it's more of this collaboration. And that's why we take more time. It's not a short 2-hour workshop. It will probably take 4 to 6 hours. It depends.
Yeah.
Me alone, I can probably build this plane in 3 hours or 4 hours. But you also have to include the hours of just figuring out how it works, cutting stuff, trying it out, failing, trying it again. So it will go longer. And then we go in this step-by-step way, and we see how much we can do in a day. Why we chose foam core planes, or why I kind of drove to that, is because I think out of the whole aviation, it's the most visual thing to do. It's like a huge freaking plane. It's 1 meter by 1 meter with a huge propeller in the front, right? It weighs almost 2 kilos if you fully load it. It's working with foam in general is very easy. It's probably the easiest material to work with because it's very easy to cut, to crack, to glue. You just need hot glue for it. You don't need any nails or any welding, nothing. And because of that, it's also super easy to fix your mistakes. Or if you crash these planes, for example, testing them out, it's very easy to patch it. Who knows, maybe some of them will do actual good products out of that. Because it's right now, there are very few labs that are doing research in this field in the whole world. Probably around 10 of them in different universities. So it's a very undeveloped field compared to electric cars, for example.
Yeah.
All right. And there's a lot of space for also new businesses, new ideas, new products here that people can go into.
I mean, the cars example is a quite good analogy to that, because or maybe you can make the case as someone who has never did anything in aviation, but who is a student for digital engineering. Why should I consider joining this workshop? What could be interesting there for me?
Yeah. Well, there are 2 ways that at least I approach motivation in any project. And I think maybe some people can relate to that. That's my hope. One way is to look at the amount of potential cash and business ideas that you can get out of it, right? Okay. I'm a very business-oriented person. So for me, I don't go into a venture usually if I don't see any financial outcome out of it. It's I don't like non-profits.
And in this field, you see a lot of potential for new ventures around aviation, drones, and sensors based.
I think, well, we already see some very good examples of startups, for example, in Africa, the Zipline startup, where they have this autonomous planes delivering packages to hospitals, for example, just dropping them. And they launch them with slingshots. Super cool startup. 5 years ago, people said it would never work. Now they're the monopoly in Africa who does these deliveries, and they're growing incredibly quickly. They plan to scale. Actually, last year they wanted to scale to the American markets as well. I lost track of the news. I don't know if they did it successfully or not. But they are the only one in the whole world who does it. Maybe now they have a competitor finally after 5 years. And in this whole aviation sector, there are either companies who do professional aviation, like big planes, and they are overburdened by a ton of certifications. And that's why even if they have something creative, it takes 10, 15 years to get to the production line. And if you're a young student who are interested in making impact in the world or making some sort of business or product, you're usually not that interested into staying here for 15 years to get it down to the line. That's why this small-scale autonomous aviation is very interesting in terms of business. You can very quickly develop a product here. You can prototype. The cost of the crash or the fail is minimal compared to crashing a Boeing or something like that. And all the testing that you need to do, you can do either in space like this or right outside. Go outside, just crash something. And that's why it's so interesting. So you can iterate very quickly. It's almost like building a software a little bit slower. And then the second motivation from like the pure hobby perspective, I just think that like this phenomenon of flight made by humans is just something almost magical, right? Although I know how the physics of the like airfoils work and how the pressure difference works and how the airflow works, still sometimes I look at planes or quadcopters and I'm like, this thing just magnetically hangs in the air just at one place. That's some sort of black box magic. It has this kind of feeling, and it's very interesting for me. I don't know why. Yeah, so see you all around, hopefully on campus. I'm spending a lot of time here on Makerspace, so come by, share your opinions, and maybe give some input on where you would want to put this direction into, or like where you want to move us. And yeah, we'll try to figure it out, right? It's how to support it.
Absolutely. It's